I'm a damn Connecticut State Trooper.
I know you are.
Right.
Welcome, Truth Seekers. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations.
I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because the truth matters.
And check out this headline from the infamous Groton, Connecticut. Now, this headline just came across my desk a few minutes ago. Groton Town Police look to identify person following reckless spitting incident. They got a typo here. They say burning incident. Now, I'm not minimizing if it was a burning incident, but why did they not do a report on a reckless and aggressive assaulting spitting incident by the spitting llama of Groton himself?
I'm a goddamn Connecticut State Trooper.
I know you are.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
Daddy, what are you doing?
Oh.
You know him, you don't love him. Connecticut State Trooper, Bryan Fahey. He makes every single state trooper look really, really, really bad. And I am suggesting to the Connecticut State Troopers, contact me. Tell me what you think about his actions. So if anyone in the public in Groton, Stonington, Mystic, Connecticut, Hartford, anywhere in Connecticut, know of any other spitting attacks of Connecticut State Trooper, Groton resident Bryan Fahey, spitting on any men, women, children, or animals, contact me immediately at LeroyTruth247@gmail.com. Because the spitters are generally not one-time spitters. And most likely he is a serial spitter, allegedly. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about people who spit. Give me a psychological makeup of a Connecticut State Trooper who inexplicably spit into the mouth of a journalist just because the journalist asked a question about possible corruption of overtime pay. Give me a clear psychological breakdown of what would drive a man who has a badge and a gun and works as a Connecticut State Trooper to spit on a man who was leaving the property of the police officer peacefully. It says here, number one, now this is not meant to be medical advice or medical analysis, nor psychological analysis whatsoever. This is not saying this is what Fahey is or indicates whatsoever. Just generically, someone who spits on a man aggressively like that. It's ridiculous. And even if it's non-aggressive, pacifist spitting, it's still wrong. So number one, it says a person who is in a narcissistic rage, calling malignant narcissism. Here, let me show you here. Profile. Feels above reproach and immune from scrutiny. Believes wearing a badge entitles him to unchecked power. Whoa. We're talking generically, not necessarily about Bryan Fahey. Let's see what else it says. Trigger. The journalist's question about corruption and overtime pay is perceived not as an inquiry, but as a personal insult or threat to ego. Next, behavioral result. Overreacts with disproportionate and degrading aggression, spitting as a symbolic way to put the target in their place. Oh my God! Very, very interesting and enlightening here. Number two. Authoritarian personality with fragile ego. Profile. Worships authority and control. Sees questioning as rebellion, often insecure under the surface. Trigger. Someone challenging his authority even calmly creates intense psychological discomfort and perceived loss of dominance. Wow. Behavioral result. Uses humiliation and shock. Spitting in the mouth. Here we go. Behavioral result. Uses humiliation and shock. Spitting in his mouth as a last-ditch effort to reassert dominance in the encounter. Wow. There's more. 3. Poor impulse control and emotional dysregulation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a guy with a gun who has the authority of the state to unalive people and to beat people up with qualified immunity. He SHOT someone a few years ago. I heard he was suspended or something, probably with pay for 1 or 2 years. So he has supposedly, allegedly SHOT. I do that for the algorithms here. And okay, so let's see number 3. Profile. Likely suffers from underdeveloped emotional regulation, possibly stemming from trauma, stress, or underlying mental illness. Again, this is just generically, I'm not saying this is anything to do with Bryan Fahey. I want to make that super clear. This is not an analysis of him by any means. I'm not a medical professional. I am not in a position to make any diagnosis. This is simply for entertainment purposes only. Now, trigger. The stress of being exposed, especially in front of a camera, may cause a short circuit in emotional processing. Continuing here. Behavioral result. Instead of walking away or using words, or in the case of this generic police officer, staying in his house after he closed the door, he acts out like a schoolyard bully, only with state power behind him, and probably a 9mm weapon with the safety most likely off, fully loaded. Number 4, there's more. This is wild. Does any of this connect with anything? Contempt for the Constitution, First Amendment hostility. Profile. Views journalism and oversight as threats to his unchecked authority, not protected rights. Trigger. A civilian with a camera asking about financial misconduct is seen not as a citizen, but as an enemy combatant. Behavioral result. Treats the journalist with pure contempt, resorting to one of the most degrading, inhumane acts, spitting in the mouth, an act that has been legally classified as assault in many jurisdictions throughout the United States. Number 5, let's see how many do we have here? We have 6. Psychopathic or sadistic traits. Profile. Gets psychological gratification from asserting dominance through humiliation or violence. I wonder if this generic person does this with his family as well. If this generic person were to have a family. Trigger. An opportunity to dominate someone physically without fear of consequence, especially someone walking away. Behavioral result. Spitting may be a deliberate act of sadism, enjoying the power imbalance, knowing he wears the badge and holds the gun, literally. And sadistic or sadism is someone who enjoys inflicting pain on others. And lastly, number 6, disassociation with humanity of others. Oh, disassociation from humanity of others. Profile. Years in law enforcement without proper mental health oversight can lead some officers to dehumanize civilians, especially those who challenge him. Trigger. Seeing this journalist not as a fellow citizen, but as a thing that threatens his self-image. Behavioral result. Spits as if he's marking territory or silencing a threat, not realizing or caring that the target, it's an interesting word, target, is a human being. Conclusion. It has conclusion and then recommendations. This act, spitting directly into someone's mouth while holding a firearm and wearing, well, he wasn't wearing his badge at the time, but it cannot be dismissed as mere impulse or bad behavior. It strongly indicates a toxic psychological profile, including dangerous narcissism, impulse control disorders, sadistic or authoritarian tendencies, clear disdain for constitutional rights, a warped sense of invincibility from systemic lack of accountability. All right, and lastly, recommendations. Any officer who engages in such behavior should be immediately suspended and disarmed. Disarmed. Undergo full psychiatric evaluation. Be criminally investigated for assault, civil rights violations, and abuse of authority. Be permanently banned from holding any position of power or trust. That's pretty straightforward, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm not saying anything. That's not a diagnosis. This is for entertainment purposes only. That's what ChatGPT's analysis of someone who spits on someone who is a police officer. What are your thoughts? And number 1, moving past that to a specific person, he needs to be specifically charged immediately with every single thing he did to Sean. is insane. And he identified himself as a Connecticut State Trooper.
I'm a goddamn Connecticut State Trooper.
So at that point, wouldn't it be what, U.S. 1983, 42, deprivation of rights under cover of law? Would that be applicable here, or maybe not? Let me know. Thanks for your support, everyone. Make sure to sign the petition to get Sergeant Fahey fired immediately. Please subscribe to my channel. I have received over, I think it's probably close to 7,000 subscribers in the last week and a half, new subscribers. God bless you all. Let's keep going to 60,000, 70,000, 100,000, and 1 million so that our message can get out to even more people. I so appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, alone we fall, together we stand, and as Martin Luther King said, the problem is not that we are outnumbered. The problem is that we are out-organized, and we are organizing peacefully to hold every one of these government officials and police officers accountable. And remember, we don't ask for permission. We are the permission. We the people. I'm Leroy Truth.